Welcome back to Stu Structures. It's been a while since I've had a video on here. I am Mark Stewart, and we're kind of going to update you on what's been going on Stu Structures. Okay, so it's been close to a year probably since I put a video up. I didn't look at the dates on my last video. I had quite a few things happen, this year, and it just with everything I have going on in the farm and elsewhere in my life, the thing that had to give was working on, model train stuff. And the building that I had previously started, the Billington Union Station, I ran into some complications with that were kind of unexpected. Soft plastics and stuff that I've never had this happen to me before, and it was kind of frustrating. So I really just intended on walking away from it for a short period and getting back to it, and then life happened. I'm expanding the farm big time this year. I got a grant to build a huge structure, so I've been working on that, and huge deer fenced in areas for fruit trees and stuff for get my arbor started. It's just been one thing after another. So the video is just going to kind of be a mishmash of everything that happened, and where that building sets, so we can get back into putting that structure together. I need to build that Union Station because this year I would like to put some modules together that show Billington as it was the turn of the last century, the last 2 centuries. So, in order to do that, this one last structure really needs to be finished. There's some other small stuff that needs to be built in place on the modules, but I really would like to show this in August. So that's another thing I need to get accomplished this year, and this building is holding all that process up. So let's just jump into this, and I'll see what directions we head in. Now this was the building that I was working on, when I stopped doing everything last spring. This is the last major building that I have to build for Billington. And I'd had the first course of this building together on the ground, and it had all these sloped brick panels, which was awkward to build, but they actually came out fairly well, and I was really pleased with this level of the building. And then I went to start on the second level of the building, and I had to cut out, this is a flat wall instead of slope, so I started putting all the panels together with the windows in them, and painted the windows and got them ready to rock and roll. And notice when I turned them over that the glue had flattened out all the brick impression. Alright, so as I was building that building, I explained what was going on. I had to walk away from it. Sometimes you just get frustrated with things, and rather than fight with it and make just more mistakes that set you back even further, I had to walk away from it. Another thing is that I explained in one of my earlier videos that the power going out to the building that I do all this in, which is several hundred feet from the main house, something is wrong with the electric underground, so I no longer have electric out there. And I had been running power cords clear out there to at least do the basics of what I had to do and have some light and so forth. But I ended up having to use that power other places out there on the farm, and I didn't have 600 or 700 feet of cord to do that and plug this building in too. So that kind of, I just put it on hold basically. And I was putting together kind of a rant video on some of this too, and then my software that I've been using, which I believe it's NCH is the company that I've been using. I believe they're out of Australia. I may be wrong on that. I will not recommend this company to anybody ever. I've been using that software for about 3 years, At one point, a year and a half into that, Microsoft updated my computer to a new platform. And when they did, they deleted my original software. So I tried to go back to the company and reinstall, get them to email me the new install for the version of the software that I had. They will not contact you. They will not help you. You can pay, I paid $100 basically for the software. And then they wouldn't help me reinstall it. They wouldn't even contact me. They wouldn't answer emails. You can't call them unless you pay them extra money for a platinum service so you can talk to somebody. So, I said, well, I like the software. It's not bad. It's not the best in the world, but it's not bad. And I was used to using it, So I said, I'll just rebuy the software, which was just under $100. The first time I tried to download it, something went wrong, and some of the files were corrupted. And I had tried to register it and all of that, and so I just deleted the whole thing and downloaded it again, and that time everything worked and the registration worked. Well, then I found out they had charged me twice for the same software. So I emailed them to try to get a refund and explain the situation of what had happened, which wasn't my fault, really. And they never would contact me back. They never gave me a refund. They didn't answer me. Basically, it was F you, without saying anything. So, I just decided, okay, well, I've got the software, so I went ahead and used it until, the end of working on this building where I was at that point. And then all of a sudden I get a flash on my screen that, sorry, but your temporary version of this software is no longer it's now invalid, and you have to pay for the software to continue use. And it's like, now wait a minute here, I've went through all this crap with the company. So I contacted them and said, I want to reinstall the version that I just bought. No contact, no answer, nothing. This is the worst freaking company I have ever done business with. So basically I paid close to $300 for the software, which I've installed twice, and the third time is not good for anything. So it was a total waste of money. And, it's not bad software. It takes a little bit of getting used to use it, but, never, ever, ever get NCH software. They have a lot of different types of software for file changes, all different types of stuff. Audio, video, just, numerous types of packages. And the software itself, I don't have anything bad to say about it. It's the company. And their customer service sucks. I mean, it sucks. And as far as I'm concerned, with that extra charge they charged me for the video, they stole close to $100 from me. And so anyway, I have nothing good to say about that company, and I recommend anybody that's considering a software company to never ever use them. So, I finally bought new software. That's why I'm finally getting some more videos up. I went the better part of this last year without any software at all for editing videos. And this new software is going to take, a learning curve, but I've got the basics down, so I'm going to start getting this video out and hopefully get out and start working on that building. But with the farm growing the way it is, all my time is going into my farm. And to come back and redo and work on those walls again on that building, I don't know if I can regroove the mortar lines and make bricks back into those flattened out plastic walls. And the windows are attached to them now, so I don't know if I can, cut the windows. Excuse me. I don't know if I can get the windows loose without destroying the windows, because they're really fine, thin pieces of plastic, or whether I'll have to go to Teachy and buy more windows, which if I have to, I will. I need to get this building done. you know, that's what's been going on this year. And the major point to all this, you know, I'm sorry to all of you that watch me on a regular basis, because it's been a long time since I put something up. You can blame NCH software for all of this. If it had worked, I'd have went back to work on the building in the middle of the year and tried to get something out there, but with no way to put, you know, edit it and get it videos out, it was just totally useless, you know, for me to try and do that. So anyway, we'll get back to putting some other stuff on this video to make it, you know, it's not such a negative impact out there. But once again, I just want to say never ever use NCH software for anything. I'm just going to throw some odds and ends into this video that I've been wanting to get out there. My dad, when he was alive, did this G-gauge train around the living room or the sunroom. A couple of the buildings, the Cecilville Station and the water tower, I scratched, built to put on here. He did the hotel, and then there's some of these pre-made little cast buildings that are on here. I'm sorry I can't really run the train for this video. The track hasn't been cleaned in several years, and Mom actually has some stuff stored up using the track shelf as a shelf for other things right at the moment. But you know, it was a nice conversation piece, you know. And he was the one, we had a little train when I grew up, and that's what got me into model railroading, was the train we set around the Christmas tree. So when you put this up in the living room, it was, you know, became very nostalgic, and we used to make sure the tracks were clean and ran it over the holidays, but that was about the limits of how much it ever got used. But it was a cool little item in the front room of the house. Something greatly appreciated in my younger years. Now here's a few shots. You know, I went up to the Grafton Model Railroad Club that I'm a part of, and you know, this is just pictures of what's sitting outside the. We're in an old freight station. You can see part of it on the left there, but this is some power that was sitting outside the Saturday that I was up there, and from the bridge I just took some shots down through the yard. So even when we're, you know, working with model trains indoors, we have all this on the outside of the building to inspire us to make things more realistic. And as far as the inside of the building, it's really coming along. We're going to be able to start building, you know, layout, track or forms and stuff for the tables, and getting things, you know, to the point where we can start putting some trains together before long. This was really in bad shape up here, so it's really came a long way. This is a little alcove that sneaks back underneath the roof of the far end of the building. We're going to use this for staging yards and workshops for the outer rooms. The other thing that really took up a lot of my time this year was getting 8-foot deer fencing up, and I'm building this 60 by 80 foot structure to grow peaches under plastic. So it's just something, you know, all of this just took up tons of my time this year. Okay, so this is a lot of rambling on here and not so much model building. I just wanted to get something out there. I needed to play with this new software. I mean, I gave my rant on NCH software. I'm just going to say it again, don't anybody ever buy NCH software and expect anything as far as customer service from them. They're the worst, one of the worst companies I've ever dealt with in any sphere of my life. A worthless freaking company. The software isn't bad to use if you can keep it working, and if, you know, maybe if you're a digital genius, then you can overcome the situations they throw at you. And you know, like I said, they charged me twice for one set of software and never would reimburse me, so they basically stole from me as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, all that being said, you know, the power to my shed, I brought it up before. You know, I don't have power out to the building where I work on all my train buildings. I had ran several 100-foot lines, extension cords out there to, you know, operate some lights and various stuff in that building to be able to build some through part of last year. You know, I've decided for me to put in power from the regular power company, it's going to cost me several thousands of dollars. Here in West Virginia, I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but I have to put my own telephone poles in the ground. and once I have them in, they'll run the wire, but I have to put in the basic box and collector at the end of that and bring the wire down from the top of the pole into my box and run all the underground cord, and you know, it's a very expensive proposition. I don't need that much power out there. I did get a walk-in cooler that I'm going to be using on a farm out there. So I need a way to power that. So what I've started doing is buying all the implements and pieces and parts to put together a 5,000 watt solar system to begin with, and then I'll add another 5,000 system to make it a split system so I can do 240 within another year or so. But for right now, that would give me enough power to do what I need. Especially in the winter when I'm working on trains, the walk-in cooler would not be, you know, in operation anyway. So even though the winter it will produce less electricity, it would still give me enough to do what I need to do out there. I don't use much power. So that's kind of where I stand with the electric. On that build, you know, the Billington station, I do want to finish that station this year. In August, our local community has an event they call Nostalgia Days, and it's kind of based on our history and stuff like that. And I would love to have some modules with the buildings representing Billington together to show at that event. And then eventually, in a few years, when I can get the building built that I need to put my whole train system in, then I can add these modules into that system as they are. So, you know, it really won't be something I'll have to rebuild later. And I need to make them small to make them mobile now. If I build it as one big unit that I can, you know, start my train layout with, then they're not going to be movable. So I want to start doing that this year. I've got enough buildings started to do one of the modules. This station is part of the second module. Then there's 2 other modules for a total of 4 modules that'll go into this system. But I need to get this train station built. And you know, what happened with the panels and the windows, you know, I wanted the metal windows to be flush, the casings to be flush with the outside of the brick. So I laid the face side of these all on a flat surface to glue the windows to the wall panels. And you know, I use this real thin cement, which, you know, for this particular application I'm not going to use it anymore. And you know, I used Walther's brick panels. You know, they're really hard and they seem to be kind of brittle even. But when I laid them flat like that, what happens is that the glue acted as a capillary action through all the grout lines in the brick. And it basically softened the plastic to where it filled in all of the grout lines on the brick. So now I have a flat piece of plastic for the brick wall instead of brick. You know, that was very frustrating because I did a whole bunch of them all at once and didn't realize this was going on till I had them finished. So, you know, I've got some jeweler's tools that I could possibly, with enough magnification, redo the grout lines between the bricks. What a process. I don't really want to do that. So I may just go ahead and cut all new brick panels, but there's no way I'm going to get these, you know, real small detailed window casings off the old walls. So that means I've got to prep new windows and paint them to get them, you know, into this building. So, you know, I've got some left over that I had ordered from Teechee's. I always order a few extras in case I mess things up when I'm building. So I have some windows. I haven't really looked at it to see if I have enough windows to do all the panels that I need to rebuild or not. But here before long, I'm going to go ahead and, you know, get back into that, even if I have to still run electric cords out to my building for a while to be able to work on it, you know, and on a part-time basis. So we'll get back to doing some builds. I've got a few other things I want to do, so I may throw up some other videos on the channel for, you know, model railroading as well as rants and various stuff to at least be getting some content out there. I appreciate you coming back and sharing this time with me. You know, I went over 1,000 subscribers a little over a year ago, and you know, my watch time isn't up there very high, and through this year I haven't put up anything to have watch time. So, you know, I'm still not monetized, but eventually I'd like to get my farm built to the point that I have more time to do this. This is more of a hobby, and you know, farming this year took over my life. It really did. With building these huge structures, I still have a few other structures that I need to build over the next couple years. You know, I have a well that I need to put in. I don't have water out here. I collect all my water off of barn roofs and building roofs and blah blah blah, and I can store around 6,000 gallons, but I need more water storage, and I need a well in the ground. I have one stream that flows in the spring but doesn't through the summer, that I can build a little retention pond and pump out of that in the spring to fill up some larger tanks, but I need to get the larger tanks and get all that in place. So in any case, where I'm going with all that is just that the farm has taken up a whole lot of my time. This is my income. You know, I mean, I should be retiring, but I don't really have much to retire on, even with Social Security, so I'll probably work until I die or until my body gives out and I just can't do it anymore. But in any case, that's where I stand with all this. And you know, model railroading has to come second in my life right now. Real life takes over. And that's what the whole situation is all about, and why I haven't been getting up these videos as much as I would like to. So thank you very much for coming back and sharing this time with me. I do appreciate it. And you know, I'll try to get videos out as much as I can, as often as I can. So in the meantime, keep model railroading.